So I'm cruising, and I'm thinking, and this random spontaneous thought pops up. A series of things like a rabbit trail, and at least that's what we call them around here. Following rabbit trails, some stream of consciousness. It's almost like a waking dream. Just some thoughts, some objects, some symbols appear in a certain sequence and you interpret them. It's like basically the same thing as what your consciousness does when you dream, and it's for the purpose of information sorting and whatnot, interconnection, correlation, things like that. It's very symbolic and archetypal in dreams, very hard to understand unless you understand the language, and even then you have this visual experience and there's certain sensory experiences, but it's mostly visual and a little bit of audio, and lots of thought concepts put into that format. And when you translate that language in the waking part of your life, what you basically end up with is a list of symbols performing a series of actions over a course of time, and then you fill in the meaning of each of those symbols and actions until you have, like, I guess you could almost call it a dream thesis that is like a statement of what it is that your mind is trying to tell you. And so it is fully possible to translate your dreams into plain English. It's kind of cool to be able to do that. They call it oniromancy. Oniromancy? I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I always say oniromancy. Oniromancy. It's O-N-E-I-R-O-M-A-N-C-Y. And it is the study, understanding, and working with dreams. Lucid dreaming is pretty cool. So I was having one of those, cruising along here, and I had a thought. And it was a point of something, conversations and things, just everything flits by, the mind rehashes. And I realized something. There's something to be said for when your kid says something intelligent or meaningful or has a good point, sees something and says, oh, well, no, it's this. And you're like, oh, dude, you get it. And most parents tend to have that moment at some point or another. But it's different when they're just like regurgitating something that you said because they know that they want to impress you with paying attention to the things that they said. And that's not the same thing as your kid actually getting something. So like there was one time we were talking about Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album. Stepson had just gotten into Floyd a bit and was listening to that and just blown him away. Every single song he heard was better than the last. It was great. Amazing thing to behold, watching somebody get into it like that. He'll be a lifelong fan. So he immediately noticed the fact that the Dark Side of the Rainbow connection, I'd showed them that, and he just thought that was pretty cool, but he was like, I think that's coincidence, I don't think they did that. But then he got to looking at the cover and realized that the black and white leading into the color of the rainbow going through the prism is just like the two halves of the record, and holy fucking shit, because the first half of the Wizard of Oz is black and white and the second half is in color. Like, wow, maybe it is. That's like at least plausible, like holy crap, so cool, But anyways, that's a genuine one. He picked up on something. There was an insight into the meaning of the prism that this, like biologically Aspergered by being a premature birth. He's got all the symptoms. God, this kid is so brilliant. So he just picked up on this thing that I had been listening to this band and staring at this cover for years and had not thought this thought that he had. And I was like, God, I wish I'd thought that. That was a good one. Those are the real ones, not when they just regurgitate some shit that you said. Change a couple words that's kind of technically theirs. I've had adults try that shit too. Like they're trying to impress me, and it's like, dude, man, I'm verbose, I get it, but that's not what I'm after. What I'm after is you picking up on what I'm putting down. So, like, when so-and-so says, oh, yeah, it's so great, my kid said something about the thing, and then, well, how can they do the whatever when the aliens have strapped the Illuminati to the something? And I was like, damn, he's 5 years old. And then, like, people in the comments were like, yeah, dude, damn, he's 5 years old, and he's regurgitating the shit his dad said. So, one of my kids, who I will not specify directly at this time, we had been conversing. This is a long time ago. This is over a year ago, year and a half. That just one of them had expressed to me, kind of in a private conversation, the two of us talking one time, that I was talking something about various conspiracies that I was into at the time, or what we were digging through, and I don't know what it was. At that time, I wasn't part of a community. I was just paying attention to the news and debunking things that I had red flags about with facts and research and sourced links, and not just Wikipedia, and I kept away from the fake news pages, what 3 or 4 or 5 there were at the time. Like, I did it for real. It's futile, by the way. People don't care. You can gather it up and eventually have a big old damn I told you so, but it doesn't accomplish anything unless, I mean, knowledge is power. That's what it accomplishes. So I guess it's not futile, but it's, if you're trying to make a change in the world, all you can change is yourself. And then if you just go around telling people off, it really doesn't do much. So, this child of mine, sweet child of mine, said, we were talking about whatever, and I said, you ever seen something in the news or whatever, a story that they told, and you were like, but something wasn't right. And I got a head nod and a quiet stare, and very quietly just said, Sandy Hook. And I said, what do you mean? I saw what they said, and I don't think anybody died there. And I said, really? And this child got a little scared at first. I said, no, I believe the same. And it was like a sigh of relief. Thank God someone else is, we're not crazy. So, that's what the real genuine moments are like, and I wanted to share that. It's way long after it happened, and like I said, I don't want to specify. It was not the one with the Pink Floyd necessarily, but I'm not going to get into details about how many and who on this one in the hopes that the other... All I'm saying is that a very astute thing was said, and I said, well, what makes you say that? And there were reasons, and some of them I had heard, and some of them I hadn't, and one of them was like that Super Bowl thing. And I said, what? And there's a Super Bowl choir, and I said, oh, yeah. So, at the very least, this one had the similar sources, but, you know, it just had seen the thing and was like, this isn't right. None of this is right. So, for the time being, I think, you know, whatever's going to happen in the world, it's the way it's been, you know, at these awakenings or whatever happen from time to time. I heard it described as the Maya dance, unfortunately, by the, what's their name? The Lost Prophets was their name. This band that I don't think they're together anymore because their singer had been using his fame and wealth to get it on with 13-year-olds by paying the parents. Anyways, so they had said that. So, you know, the Maya dance being the ritual of the you know, the seasons, the fashions, the seasonal flavors, the holidays, looking forward to summer, dreading the winter, you know. There's a whole ritual. There's a calendrical cycle that people go through. And so it was referred to as the Maya dance, and I get that. It's like, we're just going to keep doing this and hope that it makes it work. And it's just mass superstition, really. So, anyways, yeah, you know, the genuine moment when your offspring or ward under your care, or however it is, confides in you that there is a thing that everyone seems to believe, that they are like, yeah, no, I don't buy that. You know, it gives hope, but not like real hope, not false hope. It's the real hope, not like, oh, keep hoping because there's the good things happening. No, I don't mean that. It's not like, it's tenuous. Like, it's got to be nurtured and whatever. But the fact that this is, you know, there are a lot of youth that are seeing through this shit. So, and this one's kind of space cadet, a little bit almost ADD sometimes, and picked up on this thing. So even as daft as they may end up getting over the years as the system wears them down, they're going to recognize things like that, and they're going to hold on to it and remember it. So, there's hope for the future that people are going to pick up on this shit even through whatever. So, anyways, yeah, that's the important thing. Is the future is not doomed. Nothing is fucked at this point that I'm aware of. Although, if Kavanaugh is really a Patriot Act author, why couldn't they have brought that shit out right first? Everybody hates the fact that there's constant surveillance. They could have brought that out and won easily over saying why it was important not to fucking have that dude on the Supreme Court. Because the Patriot Act is pretty much the most... Is it the most unconstitutional, or is it just the least it's the most unconstitutional law. That's what it is. So anyways, that's all I had to say. I'm driving. I'm going to stop speaking while I'm driving. Hope you're having a good evening. Noticed as of the inception of this new job that a lot of other people's schedules have shifted as well. Hopefully all for the better.